My next tour is going to be something extremely special. Now, when I first started doing Palia house tours, it was on a dare, and it wasn't too long before I met some incredible people along the way. This person completely blew my top performing video out of the water with just one kitchen. It was legendary. And now we're going to get to do this full circle. One of the things that sets this creator apart is her planning process. She does some incredible sketches, which I'm about to show here in just a second. Sometimes when people come back for tours, they either have other plots that they've been working on. This one happens to be an evolution of the very first tour. One thing I'm particularly excited about is this is going to be the ultimate where you going. Sit back, relax, give me an early thumbs up, and let's get started. We're back. The myth,
Hello.
the legend, Victorique, aka Tori. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, doing pretty good. Glad to be back.
Now that I got the formalities out of the way, you're
Of
my tour
course,
guide. Where we're going?
business.
Yes.
We are starting right here in the front with a couple little
Nice.
front vision details. We can come over to the left. I have my shipping bin arranged.
Ooh, that's so cool. I've seen different implementations, but I like yours. The flowers definitely dress it up quite well, and I mean it looks like it's a proper setup.
I did it as the trend was kind of starting. Like as the first couple of people were posting, "Hey, you can put the panels here, you can put the panels and pull them out and such."
Yeah,
And I was like, "Well, I got to do it now."
yeah, definitely.
And then to match on the other side, I have some decorations because you can't have something on one side, something on the other. I
Well, that's a
saw
good balance. Yeah, for sure.
some people were doing this layered fountain where you use like the builder stuff, you just a wood crate and a floor, and you can set up the fountains really nice over here. Here, let me get out of the way.
Oh no, you're good. I got the camera going. Camera is always looking around different angles and everything. So yeah, I
Of
think
course,
this is kind of cool because this is as I understand it, right? This is quite easily attainable without doing too much
yeah, this one is
wizardry, so to
glitchless.
speak. Yeah.
This one does not have glitches, except technically to get this bottom one in just because it's so close to the edge. That was the only one, but I have one in another spot that is completely not glitched at all.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to kind of showcase that kind of stuff because sometimes people are looking at it and they're just kind of intimidated by it or they just, they just like to play the game. So, yeah, that's
Well,
really cool.
I also have a ton of glitch stuff, so I've got some stuff for everybody. Even over
Hey,
here, I've got
well-rounded,
my
right?
fishy. Yes, a little something for everybody. I've got my fishy over here. I just learned how to do that today, which is
Well, that's
exciting.
cool.
So he's just chilling.
Yeah.
Now we can go through. I can lead the way. We are going through the archway. The first thing I did with the spring update with the flowers and the pergola, and I knew exactly what I wanted to do with it as soon as I saw it.
That's awesome. It's so cool to have that kind of vision. And like from my perspective, it's cool to see how people evolve their spaces over time as well.
Yeah, because a lot of my structure is the same as that first full tour I did for you. I went in some of the speed tours you saw, I did some different iterations, experimenting with different layouts.
Yeah.
Ultimately came back to the front path and the very symmetrical branched off layout.
Definitely.
So
I always love the forest canopy too. It's just, I don't know, it adds an extra layer of coziness to it.
definitely it helps bring in the view very centralized. So what we're going to do first today is we're going to go actually to the main house first. So let's go ahead and come in.
Ah, yes.
So this room stayed very similar with the log cabin. Just kind of rearranged a little bit, extra details.
Yeah, I can definitely tell the evolution here. I've seen just from a couple of iterations, so to speak. My favorite word. The different views of the living room, right? How you've done different seating arrangements and everything. And it's nice and cozy. And it's kind of cool too, like from my perspective, I guess I'm just weird, and this is just the thing that I've done is anytime we get new items and stuff in the game, I don't necessarily think about how I'm going to use them. I think about how everybody else is going to use them, and that's fun
That's
for
so
me.
exciting, though. It's like you've got the brainstorming for houses for so many different people instead of just one, where you like a much broader spectrum of, oh, these are the cool ways that this one item can be used. I think it's really fun.
Yes, a brain tempest.
So we are going to go left first into
Perfect.
the evolved study.
Oh, yes.
Now just listen to that music box for a second.
You know, I'm going to have to turn my sounds back on.
Oh my goodness, well, I am so sorry. But the music in this room is one of my favorite parts.
Let's turn it on then. Let's do this.
Beautiful.
Turn the music back on. I will cut this part out.
Sip, sip.
Ah. We can hear things now.
Magical. Definitely have a couple of spots around the plot that are very ambiance important.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So typically, yeah, I would play without any game sounds or music, but in this case, we're going to play with some game sounds just to make sure that you have taken care of multiple different layers of this, and one of those being audio. So I want to make sure that we respect that.
Well, thank you. So let's come this way first into the bedroom space.
Ooh.
Definitely upgraded with, I love putting the plants throughout the whole house.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a room that I felt like if I had this place in real life, I could get a really good night's sleep or like a 2-hour nap or something, you know?
You know, like you gotta prioritize. Like, do I want to get some really good sleep, or do I just need to just take a power nap and get back to work building things and causing chaos and shooting choppas and
Shooting choppas, man. Shooting
yeah.
choppas got to control the overpopulation.
Yeah, right. They are everywhere, crashing servers and everything.
But yeah, I have the curtains up in these spaces to really make it feel dense and private. Like a place, since we don't have interior doors, of course, but
Now,
hint,
just to make a little joke here, can you imagine like closing those curtains? That would be like fighting with them. Like I would,
oh my
once I put them
goodness.
up, I would never take them down.
It'd be like going through a car wash if you put them down too from being tied up.
Yes, being assaulted with carpet noodles.
Well, at least you'd be nice and clean, well dusted.
Exactly.
Into the next space, we have the bathroom. Now let me see if you notice what's going on back there.
Whoa. Okay. So
There's a couple of big things in here.
First off, the candles are making some things happen.
I know. I was playing around with that just the other day, and apparently the makeshift candles, everyone, make a really cool light effect against at least these two windows.
Yeah, it looks like two full moons.
I almost think it's like almost like a fireflies like effect, something like that, or very.
Yeah.
And then in the back here, I did this cool thing where you can see I have these two big bay windows instead of one.
That's cool.
That is a tricky one that I did before the landscape update, and I think it's harder now, but I don't know. I haven't done it since, but
I know there's just some of those things that you do in the game. You're like, once you figure it out, you're just like, I'm never touching this again.
Oh, there are so many things that I'm never moving again, but that's, part of the risk you take by playing it that way. And then part of the fun then is ending up tearing down some things and learning new ways to do cool stuff, and all experiments, all fun.
Yeah, totally.
But we can come back through the living room again. You know, they changed the walking, just a little tangent, they changed the walking thing to be the same hotkey as your decorating key. And so now I can't do the slow walk without pulling up my edit mode, and that's annoying. But back to the show.
Fun fact, I slow walk with a controller, and that's how I pull this off.
Well, aren't you fancy?
A little bit.
Wow.
I try. Ah,
But
yes.
the kitchen.
Tell me how this has changed.
So I moved the ovens to not be in here. I put back, used the stone builders to do black backsplashes, and I hid all of my prep stations because they don't match a lot of the furniture that we have unless you're using specifically like Homestead, and even then it's So
yeah.
pulled some stunts, and they're completely functional. Up here in the walls, you can go by. I got my prep stations up here. Stations in here.
Oh, I
They
can
blend
see
right
that.
in.
They really do. Wow. That is legitimately impressive. And also, the next word is going to be a little surprising, but it's also kind of frustrating that we can't have these kinds of things like already in the game. Like, come on
I know.
now. Come on now.
They should like give us set customizable stations, or ones that or upgrades that fit into. I know a lot of people want the different ovens and stoves to match. Some people have these really elegant, high classy builds, but then they're stuck with the more worn down looking prep stations.
I know.
And you better
just
wander
code.
on by here. You missed a spot.
Okay. Yeah.
Little overzealous over here, aren't we?
I am always a professional meanderer, so.
We've got the pantry space in here.
Nice.
Really wanted to feel like just a dense, you shove everything into the small space you have to work with.
Definitely. It's so cool to just see like how people use different spaces, especially like I've seen different iterations of this, and you would be surprised how many kitchens that I've seen that have been inspired just by yours. They watch the video, they emulate it, and then they sign up for a tour, and I'm just like, whoa, your kitchen is a meme.
I've been here before.
This is whoa.
Cue the Deja Vu song from Initial D, that one too.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple, and I look and I'm like, wow, somebody liked what I did so much that they wanted to put it in their own, which is a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah, I mean, imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Well, I'm flattered. So, I even have a nice little coffee bar here because, you can't go mining and hunting and all this crazy stuff without a little bit of bean juice.
That's right. Gotta have that bean juice. Mm-hmm. Go juice. No. Go beans.
go juicy juice. In here, speaking of some sound ambience, I have one hidden in here, but a little crafty greenhouse room.
Nice.
And shoved in the corner, as all real homes do, you have, all your laundry shoved into one space that you'd prefer to forget about, but then it all piles up and you have to deal with it later. So.
Yeah, that is very, very accurate.
That's the goal.
Laundry and dishes.
Laundry and dishes.
Arch nemesis.
Isn't it all? Isn't it all?
I like the creative use that people have done with the building blocks, especially creating the separation here with the pillars that you did, because it adds to the parallax effect, as you're panning your camera around. It just adds a little bit more depth to that, and I'm having fun just taking in all the little nitty-gritty details here, because it's not just creating content, it's archival for posterity.
So with the pillar wall, I initially saw it, I think in the Palia Discord, somebody did this kind of wall with the Kilima Mountains wallpaper. And I
Hmm.
thought, oh my gosh, if anybody ever finds it, spots it in the wild or anything, it's gorgeous, or want to recreate it with that specific wallpaper. Looks incredible. Unfortunately, it didn't quite fit into my theme. So I went
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah, it's a good look. Tie the green together.
Indeed.
Ah,
So
that's a good
can
kitchen. Had to get another peek at the kitchen.
do another little, give it a little wave on our way out.
Yeah.
One last big grand window pan, and we will come out and we're going to take a turn to the right
Nice.
and go down this path, and we're going to go down this path to my truck.
Ooh. Hey, that's a nice truck.
Thank you, thank you.
That's
So I wanted this.
that's a classy truck too.
It's got, it's got the headlamps, it's got the storage, it's got everything you could need. I wanted this space to connect to the shipping bin. As you can see, we pop right over here, the shipping bin. So it feels like as you're doing, your work and you're just working around the plot, and you can deliver stuff to your shipping bin as needed. Kind of a
That's really
very,
cool.
yeah. And then I have, of course, a little doghouse for Tao, because the goodest boy deserves the best.
Yes. He is a good boy.
It's a good boy. Come back out this way. Now we'll see. Before, I think in the first tour I did with you, did I have the gazebo done? I don't think I did in the very first tour. And then I did the Starstone study in here. And then
Yeah.
I've done something else with it. It still exists, but it's a little special surprise later. I had to find a way to fill in this space without it, though, which took me a little bit to figure out what I wanted to do here.
I love this tea party. And I've gotten such a kick out of people coming up with all different kinds of designs for the growable furniture. I didn't think that I was going to be as big of a fan of the growable furniture as I am for outdoor anything. It's so cool how people have come up with all these different things. My one thing, and I think it's gonna make everybody's eye twitch, right? I wish that we could color them. How cool would it be to have like a dark green viney thing with like red flowers or purple flower? I mean, that would be so cool.
Oh, that would be like a dark enchanted forest sort of situation that could go into. Oh, that would be beautiful. Yes, that would be a great. I thought you were going to say how you wish you could how we can't leave it partially grown if we want more of that piece of furniture.
I know.
So a way to obtain more of the same seeds so that you could have partially grown.
Hit us up with those two asks, please and thank you. Have a nice day.
Greatly appreciated. So let's see. I have us going to the left first on my little note sheet, our little guide to my Plushy garden. S6 is fond of giving us lots of big plushies that don't fit on shelves that I don't know what to do with. So I shoved them all, well, most of them here together.
Good old frogs. Good old frog groups.
And the bugs, I'm only missing the ladybug.
Oh, yeah.
So close.
And it's such a fun, I guess, to that point, right? You've been playing for a bit. You can walk around this plot and totally know you play the heck out of some Palia. But
I think it's been over a year now.
Yeah, there are still some items that you haven't gotten yet, like plushies and everything like that. And then a new player could start tomorrow, and that would be the first plushie that they get. It's kind of interesting how it balances out, There
are some people who have so many of the bug plushies or so many hunting plushies, I cannot even fathom. Now, this leads...
I like how you have integrated this walkway, the trees, the flowers, and everything.
As you go out that way, you get to this landscape's... I wanted that one. Excuse me. Out that way goes to, the fishing hole. I did build a dock before, but I didn't get it far enough along that I wanted to keep it and keep the item space. So it's not there anymore, but it's still, I love this log just as a piece of the landscape. Shout out to whoever designed this on the team.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that this is like, this particular landscape is probably the most valuable out of the three that we've gotten, just because it's so cozy and it changes up so many things.
As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, it's absolutely perfect for my vibe.
Oh
For my
yeah.
vibe. Um, this way, notice the change in color along this route.
Oh,
We
you have
lead
it color
to,
coded. Nice.
of course I do. Color theory, matching. You love to see it.
Oh
Little Phoenix,
yes.
a lovely pay your respects, indeed, to
I love this.
our Lord and Savior Emperor. Beautiful, beautiful.
This is just, this is quite an upgrade, because beforehand you had to separate the paths with just fence posts, and then, a few months later, like, we get the flowers and the spring update, and you have, it's a glow up is what it is. It's a glow up.
Oh, it's been my favorite. Like it was probably my favorite update to explore with that, and then the different size trees
Yes.
has been. It changes the entire look of my plot. And notice little sneak peeks and trickies. I put these bushes in here on red presents to raise them above the fence so that you can see them better. Just a little
Oh,
tips and
nice.
tricks for anybody looking in.
Hopefully we get that back later this year.
Yes,
People that missed out on it.
I want so many more people to be able to have it and play around with them because they're such a fun item. Now, welcome
Oh,
back
yes.
to the trophy house.
Nice.
I now have all the romance portraits.
That is, it's such a cool thing that we're able to showcase just all of the different achievements. It's like there's no way that you can really fudge that in the game. It's like
Like the proof is there.
Yeah, the proof is there. Absolutely.
Proof is in the pudding,
That's
or
right.
whatever that phrase is.
Proof is in the
I like
Palia.
proof is in the Palia. Now, last time I didn't have anything done with my bug and fish rooms. Well, now, of course, the update this month broke the textures right before my tour, but that's okay. It's
That's
still
okay.
done. Just imagine there's fish here.
Yes.
Just
Right.
use your big brain.
Yes.
Like there's supposed to be like rays here. There's some other fish here. Big, impressive fishy things. It's cool. This one looks cool, like a window of fish, and it's there. But
that's all good. Yeah. No. Like, to a degree. I mean, we have encountered the big smoke monster too, and I think a lot of people will be able to get the gist of it for sure. And there's many more things, and the beauty of it is like, once this does get once that does get patched out, yeah, and once this tour goes live, like, you could totally put it up on the tour board and have people be able to come and see it in person.
anybody you're willing to drop by, little homework for the video today. Drop by and see it when it's
That's right.
homework. But yeah, that bug room is probably one of my favorite pieces of this updated trophy room, because
I want to point out to everybody that, like, sometimes when you go first into a space and you're just like, I need to get like a large room. No, you don't. Sometimes, like, less is more when it comes to something like this. Like, just get a small or a medium room and start with that and fill that space up before thinking about expanding it, because there's so much that you can do in such a small space to really make it feel like it's complete better or earlier, I guess.
Better to fill a small space and then upgrade when you have room sometimes, so that you don't get overwhelmed trying to be like, oh my gosh, I have so much empty space and what am I going to do with all of it?
Exactly.
I see sadly a ton of houses on the tour kind of seem to suffer from that issue a little bit, where they make these big, really cool layouts, but then they don't have enough room ideas or filler material to really make use of all that space.
Yeah.
Now we shall come across. Look at here. Let's take a second. Sightlines, everybody.
Sightlines, indeed.
So, for the sake of, we have some little friends that are spooky, easily spooked little fellas. I'm gonna want you to come here and walk over that bridge before me.
All right. There's one baby. And then there's the other baby. And we're going to spook them at the same time. Eek! At least the bird has a little bit of a delay. This is magical in here. This
Now,
is
if you
quite
wanna-
magical.
That is one of the spaces that a lot of sound ambiance comes into play too. Very subtle,
Totally. Just going to pan
Have some
around so we
hidden-
can just capture all of it.
but it's like one of the few spots on my plot that has very open sky too. Now, imagine
Yeah.
if we had some sort of way, you know how the groves out in Bahari have that mystical, like spotty purple air swirl. Imagine if we could put that effect onto our plot somehow.
Oh, yeah. That would be super cool. That would be
That
super
in
cool.
here, I would be so happy.
I know. Yeah.
So now we can come back, since we've spooked all the friends, we can come back to the Choppa Garden.
Oh.
We have so much Choppa stuff. I gave them their
yeah.
own little habitat.
That's
Sorry, Hasan.
cute. That is so cute. Little Choppa sanctuary.
They have their own little secret society in here. It's crazy.
Club Choppa, including the monument to knowing people. Or having lots of alts.
Yeah, I don't got that many friends. Did it myself. It's okay though. You can be your own friend.
That's right.
That's right.
With the power of
name-
email aliases.
With the power of no verification.
Yep.
And notice I have this one little guy up here in the tree.
I saw that. That's a cool little step.
And that giant Choppa, of course, had to go here.
I just love how they're so happy with their little mushroom.
I know, the little smiley faces are so precious. Once again, sorry, Hasan. They're adorable. So I'll kill them for you, though. Now, this way, we're going to go through the door first into the workshop.
Ooh. So this is a lot going on in here. Not in a bad way. This is just like you got it's active. This is an active work site.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's also busy in the sense of I did a lot of funky things in this room.
Yeah, I could tell as I'm panning the camera around. I remember.
From the speed tours, you think?
Yeah. It's all coming back to me now.
It's all coming together, folks. The unbuilt, glitched-in gazebo that I know there's a way to do now if you take the time to look it up, but I don't remember. It got landscape issued. But
That's all good.
then this open space is also in the same boat. But now, instead of the butcher block thing that took up, 20 spaces, I just have a ramp, which is nice.
Yeah. I like that. I like how the building blocks have simplified things quite a lot too.
Yeah. And then some people go crazy with them. It's beautiful.
Really they do.
Now, I have this in place for if we ever get barn animals or anything like that. But for now, I wanted a barn thing. I'm going to have my little Ormu buddies in here.
Awesome.
And we lead into the rest of the garden space, featuring a garden shed.
What?
Speaking of more tricky trick things.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that one's a lot of explaining that you can find your own research on how to do
Yeah.
this one. If it's
No,
still possible. If
that's
it's still
totally fair.
possible.
Yeah, that's.
We'd be
But you made a she shed though. I mean, that's cool.
well she shade. And then we have, of course, you need your machines.
Oh yeah,
And we
money makers.
have money makers. It's all potatoes.
It's all potatoes. That's
It's
funny.
all potatoes. Pickled potatoes, it's where it's at. You eat them, you sell them.
Boil and mash them, stick them in a stew.
So we have our little. I noticed I did this without even really thinking about it. I put at all those junctions of the paths that are like hidden in the woods, I put like a mushroom at each little path branch, which I didn't realize until later, which,
He
go back
silently judges you and expects you to know where you're supposed to go.
like, hey, where are you going? What's up? Now this way, I just have a little simple path to this little Bahari gate. Nice and easy, little bit of hunting stuff. Sometimes to grow my flow trees, I toss them in the back here and water them, but
Oh, that's cool. Nice use of that space. You got a lot of fun things.
And now here is our grand finale piece.
Ooh. Grand finale.
Grand finale is now, remember how I said the Starstone study was missing? Well, here it is.
Oh, yes. All the things that people have done with this room have just been incredible.
I love when people make like the raised back of it.
Yeah.
If you've seen any of those are really cool. I was considering doing that, but it didn't quite work with my space. But some people do some really crazy stuff in here. And did you know you can, in the HView, edit it to not have windows if you so please?
I am aware of that. My wife figured that one out. I was like, ooh, the things that you can do with that application.
Now I just wish you could change the base beamwork colors. I find the color choice a little
Yeah.
interesting because it doesn't match the house and it's not customizable, but it's still very pretty.
It is. It is. This is quite an area. Quite an area indeed. I'm just kind of look up and take in the sights there.
You get right here, there's a nice little sunbeam through this ceiling.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of nice little...
You have a little observatory. Either that or it's a giant microscope if you turn it around.
That's a good point, a microscope for giants.
Yep. That is awesome.
And I tried going mining to get the rest of the Starstone collection.
No, it is so cool. It is so cool, like how you pulled all this stuff off, for sure.
Just once again, a throwback to the first video. RNGesus, not my friend, apparently.
And how?
But we do
Have
our
we
best.
covered everything?
We have covered everything. We got everywhere.
Nice.
Thank you much for exploring.
Absolutely. The pleasure is all mine. It's really cool to be able to go full circle and just to see how this place has had a glow up, it's evolved. And where would be the coziest place on your house or plot for Q&A?
We could go back to the gazebo with the dear friends.
Q&A time. Let's get the deets. We're here with Victorique, and we've come full circle. I think one of my first orders of business that I like to do for Q&A is just like kind of go over all the stuff. Like we covered a lot of ground here, pun intended. And you have evolved this plot so much since the very first tour. You have added flowers without overdoing it. It's just like nice meandering paths, and then in addition to that, like you have this wonderful canopy overhead everything. And then also just you've taken your existing spaces and just and upgraded them. You've played the game a little bit more, you've gotten more achievements, and the kitchen. Like,
The kitchen.
I don't even need to really say anything else. It's just the kitchen, and you know.
If you know, you know, you know.
If you know, you know, you know. So
You
I
know.
think my first question is going to be a little meta, and I hope that you're okay with it.
Sure.
How has that video impacted like your design?
It it makes me think. I mean, I mentioned it earlier with the sight lines. It brings up different things that I wouldn't have initially thought about for design in the way it would present, even in a video format, in the way I thought more about the person's perspective going into areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like as you the initial sight when you first walk into a space
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
has been a large focus.
Yeah, it's been interesting the kind of perspective that people have had when it comes to just seeing their plot through different eyes. And it's been a ride for both of us, you know. Uh I mean, hell, this all started out on a dare, and then look where we are. So
Which is such a cool story.
it really is. It really is. And you know, you showed me at the beginning, and you've showed me throughout the time that we've known each other, your process, right? You sketch everything out ahead of
I do
time,
indeed.
and it's really cool that we've been able to show like an overlay of that over your plot. Do I still have editor views? Hold on.
If you don't, I can make sure you have them right now.
Yeah, I want to see. Let's see.
I can upgrade you to editor.
Nice.
Uh,
So I'm just gonna show y'all real quick. This is the overhead view, and I'm gonna overlay the sketch again. Y'all can see exactly how true to form it is. You pull out a fresh sheet of paper. Do you already
mhm.
kind of have an idea of like where you're going with it, or you also like kind of go a little organic as you're sketching things out? You're just like, maybe this will work, maybe this won't work.
Like kind of a mix of both. I generally have like a general concept, but I definitely edit a lot once it's on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I often will hold the paper up to the H view of the plot to kind of make sure I have the dimensions right, and I'll usually I'll sketch just around like against my screen very lightly, you know, um, the size of like a harvest house or something,
Mm-hmm.
just so that I have the size ratios down. And then
Nice.
I start in the center and work my way out typically.
Oh yeah. Start in the center and work your way out. That's an interesting it's an interesting strategy. That's really cool. That's
I
really
find
cool.
myself being able to make it flow more naturally into the rest of. I mean, the plots are enormous, even beyond what we're given to decorate. You know, we're given these landscapes, especially the beach one is huge.
Yeah, it is
So
massive.
now some people do really good at making a wall, making a boundary right around the edge of the plot. But I like it to personally flow outwards more into the rest of the space.
You like it you like to radiate your design. That's really cool. So I want everybody to know right now that like Victorique started out just like everybody else in Palia with a tent. And
Oh,
you have just iterated from here. My last question is going to be what have you learned about yourself in the past year just by playing Palia and designing?
a big one. I I think the one that really comes to mind is I had this layout originally, right? And then you've gone through speed tours where I go and I try to change it up. I tried to make the initial layout a lot more organic and free flowing because I've seen a lot of other plots that have it.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like a structured path, like a like my if you see in the overhead, it's very symmetrical in the center,
Mm-hmm.
and it just doesn't. I learned that it just doesn't work for me. I decided to go back and own my symmetry, and I noticed I was just a lot more happy when I owned the way that I felt comfortable laying it out.
That's really cool. That is really cool. It's just kind of like you had this design initially, and you have tested it and tested it and tested it, and you've kind of come back not only full circle with me, but you also come full circle with your design too. Like it has grown, but it's also kind of like uh regressed in a way that has just established the initial integrity of your first design.
And I feel like now you come to my plot and it's a very, the layout, the structure is pretty iconic part of what makes my plot, you know, itself and unique, that it still has the organic feel despite having some very structured pieces. It blends, it blends the the very rigid structure with a lot of the natural free flowing, and it I feel like it creates a nice bridge between those instead of being strictly one or the other.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly because I think one of the cool things about it is like as you're walking around this plot, there's lots of things that just that draw you in that take your sight and just like you're just like, oh, this is really cool. But I think where the magic comes from in this particular design and how you've executed it is that there's a lot of things underneath the surface that is very technical. That like you said, not necessarily like exploits or tricks or anything like that, but just there's a lot of layers to it, And like you said, it's organic and it's free flowing, but at the same time, it's curated and structured and intentional, you know?
Yeah, I can definitely say that every little part is intentional. I will, you know, something I do like in the evenings, I'll just go through and I'll walk back and forth in the plot and I'll nitpick little spots. It's like, how can I present this better to the eye? How can I layer this more properly, such as like the presents under the bushes when I initially put those in, because the space is empty and I wanted bushes, and then the bushes were too low. And it's the little logical jumps that happen little bits over time.
Yeah, and I know there are a lot of people right now that are nodding their head at that because they do that too. My wife included will look at something 18 different times from 20 different angles, and I can't even look at her screen because it makes me dizzy, but she pulls it off, So I think that there are a lot of people out there that do the same thing, and I think that those of you who are out there can also kind of take comfort that you're not alone in some of the design quirks, looking at things from different angles and making sure that it looks right, not just at face value. So,
And
Victorique,
then,
thank you.
of course, you are always welcome. I am always happy to, you know, hang out and do tours, and it's always a blast. There's a lot of, everybody goes in their own pace, and it takes a lot of time to really make something that you like. So don't be afraid to, if it doesn't look perfect on the first try, don't immediately tear it down. Just keep going.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And if those of you on the other end of the screen, don't forget to give this video a big old thumbs up. Let me know what you loved about this plot. What are you running home right now and implementing? Because there's a lot. There's a whole laundry list and homework and everything. And when this video goes live, by the time y'all are watching this, it should be on the tour board.
Oh,
So
of course.
it'll be a lot of fun to be able to just kind of experience it in person all over again. And y'all can watch my video alongside and go tour it on your own. And yeah, it'll be good times. Thank
Oh,
you
what a
again,
fun
Victory.
idea. Of
Yeah.
course. Always a pleasure.
All right. And I'll see you all for the next one. Till next time, take care. Bye bye.